Have you ever wondered how your money habits stack up against everyone else's? Maybe you've looked at your bank balance and thought, am I doing better than most or worse? The truth is, most people have no idea what average really looks like when it comes to money. Social media makes it seem like everyone is traveling first class, driving luxury cars, and buying homes in their 20s. But behind the filters, the numbers tell a very different story. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 7 jaw-dropping money stats that reveal how the average person is really doing financially. Some of these will make you feel better about your own situation. Others might be the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. By the end of this video, you'll have a crystal clear picture of where you stand and what it actually takes to get ahead. So before we dive in, make sure to subscribe if you want honest, eye-opening insights about money, wealth, and financial freedom, because this channel is where we make the complicated stuff make sense. Alright, let's start with the first stat, and trust me, it'll surprise you. Stat number 1. The average income isn't what you think. Most people assume the average American earns enough to live comfortably, pay the bills, save a little, maybe even take a trip once in a while. But the truth is, the numbers paint a much tighter picture. According to the latest data, the median full-time worker brings in just over $1,000 per week, which adds up to roughly $52,000 per year before taxes. Sounds okay on paper, until you remember that Uncle Sam always takes his cut. After federal and state taxes, Social Security and Medicare, most workers actually take home between $35,000 and $40,000 per year. That's about $3,000 a month to cover rent or mortgage, groceries, transportation, insurance, and everything else. And that's not the low end, that's the middle. Half of Americans make less than that amount. So if you've ever wondered why it feels like you're earning more than ever but saving less, you're not crazy. The cost of living has outpaced the average paycheck for years. Average income today doesn't mean comfortable, it means constantly catching up. And that reality becomes painfully clear when you see what happens during an emergency. Stat number 2. Over half the country couldn't handle a simple emergency. Here's a sobering fact. Nearly 60% of Americans couldn't cover a $1,000 emergency without borrowing money. If the car breaks down, a medical bill hits, or an unexpected repair shows up, most people reach straight for a credit card or a loan. And it's not just low earners. Even many people making decent salaries are stuck living paycheck to paycheck. That's lifestyle inflation in action. As income rises, so do expenses. The real issue isn't just the lack of savings, it's the stress that comes with it. Without even a small cushion, every surprise turns into a financial setback. But the good news is, fixing it doesn't take much. Building even a modest $1,000 emergency fund can turn chaos into control. And yet, many never get the chance to build that buffer, because their money is already tied up in something far worse. Stat number 3. Credit card debt is quietly crushing people. Here's a number that might shock you. The average household carries about $9,000 in credit card debt. That's not for cars or homes. It's everyday spending that piled up and never got paid off. With interest rates between 15% and 25%, the debt grows faster than most people can pay it down. And here's the painful truth. It's rarely caused by emergencies. Most of it comes from small lifestyle purchases that quietly add up month after month. Once you carry a balance, the game changes. Your money starts working for the bank, not for you. If you can't pay it off in full each month, it's not worth putting on the card. Because nothing drains wealth faster than paying 20% interest on things you barely remember buying. And that habit becomes even more costly when you look at what most people have or don't have saved for retirement. Stat number 4. Retirement savings are shockingly low. Here's where things get really worrying. The median American has only about $65,000 saved for retirement. And that number includes everyone with a retirement account at all. Around 1 in 4 people have saved nothing. $0. Think about that. After decades of working, millions of people are heading toward retirement with almost no cushion. Even among older Americans, those nearing retirement, the median balance is just $88,000. Following the 4% rule, that's only about $3,500 a year of income. That's not freedom, that's survival. The truth is, most people underestimate how much they'll need and overestimate how much time they have. But the earlier you start, the easier it gets. Because compounding doesn't reward the biggest paycheck, it rewards the earliest start. And while many are struggling to save for tomorrow, a surprising number are also missing out on something simple they could be earning today. Stat number 5. Most people's cash isn't even working for them. This one is quietly costing people thousands of dollars every year. Over 80% of Americans keep their savings in regular bank accounts, earning almost nothing, often less than 0.5% in interest. To put that in perspective, if you had $5,000 sitting in one of those accounts, you'd earn maybe $20 in a year. But if you placed that same amount in a high-yield savings account, earning around 3.5%, you'd make about $175 for doing absolutely nothing. That difference might not sound huge today, but over the years, it compounds. And the sad reality is that most people don't even realize they're losing purchasing power every single month. The takeaway? You don't need to be an investor to make your money work for you. Simply choosing where your cash sits can make the difference between staying stuck and moving forward. But that's only part of the story. Because even as people let their money sit idle, they're also spending faster than ever before. Stat number 6. Spending habits are out of control. Let's talk about where all that money is going, because the numbers are staggering. The average household in America spends around $5,500 every single month. That's about $67,000 per year, nearly the entire income of a typical family after taxes. The biggest slice of that spending goes to housing, at roughly $1,800 a month, followed by transportation and food. In other words, just keeping a roof over your head and getting to work can eat up half of your income before you even think about anything else. It's no wonder that so many people feel like they're running in place. Because when you spend nearly everything you earn, there's nothing left to save or invest, no matter how much you make. This is what traps millions of people in a paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. The key is awareness. You can't fix what you don't track. And once you see where your money really goes, you realize that small changes in spending can buy something far more valuable: peace of mind. Stat number 7. Most people have no idea what they're worth. Here's one that might hit closer to home. Nearly 2 out of 3 adults have never calculated their net worth. That means most people have no idea how much they actually own after subtracting what they owe. They see the paycheck, maybe glance at the credit card balance, but never connect the dots. And that's a big problem, because what doesn't get measured doesn't improve. You can't fix your finances if you don't even know where you stand. It's not about judgment or guilt. It's about clarity. Once you track your net worth, even just once or twice a year, you suddenly see progress. You start noticing how debt shrinks, how savings grow, and how momentum builds. Wealth doesn't begin with a raise or a lucky investment. It begins with awareness. Because when you know your numbers, you take control. And when you take control, everything else gets easier. So those were the 7 jaw-dropping money stats of the average person. A snapshot that's both shocking and motivating. If any of these numbers made you pause, that's a good sign. It means you care enough to start changing them. And remember, you don't need to be a financial expert to get ahead. Just do a little better than the average person, in a few small ways, for a long time, and you'll end up far ahead. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. Because in the next video, we'll break down the 7 daily money habits that quietly make you rich. Hit that like button, and I'll see you there.